Hello viewers, it's glad to see you again in our daily bulletin. Up next are the headlines. Fatherland Front President Nguyễn Thiện Nhân visits Republic of Korea. Storm Dianmu leaves 3 dead and 2 missing in northern provinces. Foreign visitors experience tàu hỏa figurine making in Hanoi's Old Quarter. As part of his working visit to the Republic of Korea, Politburo member, President of the Vietnam Fatherland Front Central Committee Nguyễn Thiện Nhân paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Hoàng Kyung-an. Regarding the East Sea issues, Prime Minister Hoàng Kyung-an reiterated the Republic of Korea's viewpoint that related parties should settle sea-related disputes on the basis of international law and international agreements signed by concerned parties. He proposed Vietnam create more favorable conditions for Korean businesses which have already or will invest in Vietnam so that they can operate effectively, contributing to the interests of both nations. The Prime Minister also suggested Vietnam allow Korean enterprises to join in efforts to upgrade Vietnam's defense capacity. Nhân applauded the Korean government's position regarding the East Sea issue, particularly its support of the settlement of disputes by peaceful means, respect for international law and with their militarization. The front leader thanked the Republic of Korea for its provision of $300,000 in emergency relief to Vietnam's central region and Mekong Delta to help them overcome the impacts of saltwater intrusion. During the visit, President Nguyễn Thiện Nhân met with representatives of the Vietnamese community in the Republic of Korea, where they affirmed that overseas Vietnamese are an integral part of the nation. The same day, Nhân also chaired a seminar on Vietnam's achievements during 30 years of reform in Sejong City, where he fielded many questions from local scholars. Now we move to other important news. Storm Dianmu, the third hit Vietnam so far this year, has killed 3 residents in the northern mountainous provinces of Yên Bái and Sơn La and left 2 others missing in Lào Cai and Bắc Giang. The information was released by the Standing Board of the Central Steering Committee for Disaster Prevention and Control in Hanoi on August 20th. Dianmu swept through the northern part city of Hải Phòng to the northern province of Bắc Ninh after making landfall in the mainland on August 19, bringing heavy rains to the northern and northern central regions. It triggered the collapse of dozens of houses, unroofed and inundated hundreds of others, and caused damage to thousands of hectares of crops. 5 bridges in Thanh Hóa, Hòa Bình, Thái Nguyên and Sơn La provinces broke down. To better cope with storms in the future, the committee asked localities to evacuate residents from areas prone to landslides or flooding while ensuring the safety of dikes and key infrastructure. According to the National Center of Hydrometeorological Forecasting, landslides are likely to occur in northern mountainous and central provinces, including Lai Châu, Điện Biên, Sơn La, Hòa Bình, Lào Cai, Yên Bái, Phú Thọ, Tuyên Quang, Thái Nguyên, Bắc Cạn, Thanh Hóa, and Nghệ An. The State Bank of Vietnam expects to submit to Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc a project to restructure credit institutions between 2016 and 2020 in the third quarter of 2016. The project will closely resolve non-performing loans in a move to sustain the non-performing loan ratio under 3%. Preventive measures will be taken to minimize new non-performing loans and enhance the credit quality of credit institutions. Under the project, the central bank will also continuously take drastic measures to thoroughly restructure and resolve ailing credit institutions. Supervisory measures and support policies on commercial banks, which the central bank acquired, will also be mentioned in the project. The new restructuring project is aimed to continuously enhance the country banking system, which has been improved significantly thanks to a strong restructuring scheme from 2011 to 2015. In 2011, the banking system was unsafe, with many credit institutions suffering poor liquidity, weak governance, and accelerating non-performing loans. The foreign exchange market was also volatile, where the government's foreign exchange reserves remained low. To remove these shortcomings, the banking system had undergone strong restructuring between 2011 and 2015, which helped it register major achievements. Under the scheme, the number of commercial banks was cut from 42 to 34. Besides restructuring 10 banks through mergers, the central bank dealt with 3 airline banks, Ocean Bank, Vietnam Construction Bank, and Global Petroleum Bank by acquiring them at zero down. The 5-year restructuring scheme has contributed significantly to controlling inflation, stabilizing the macroeconomy, supporting economic growth, and ensuring the safety of the banking system. Up to 44% of consumers whose rights were violated when purchasing goods do not report the problem. The report is based on a survey of 3,000 respondents in March and April in 12 areas.
The report conducted by the Ministry of Industry and Trade's Vietnam Competition Authority indicated more than half of those surveyed said their rights and benefits were violated at least one time when purchasing goods. The number of complaints in the food and beverage sector was highest, accounting for 20% of the total, followed by electronic home appliances with 13% and daily necessities with 13%. The survey also found that 25% of consumers who sold low-quality products, 18% were disturbed by unwanted marketing and advertisements, 16% were cheated in the quantity of goods they bought, and 12% believed their products were fraudulent in origin. Fraud in expiration dates also accounted for 10% of the total, while lack of product guarantees accounted for 7%. However, the respondents didn't complain about the violations due to the low value of the deals or complicated claim procedures. In addition, up to 11% of consumers weren't aware of agencies that could help them resolve their complaints. Only 20% of the respondents chose to ask for support from consumer protection agencies, and 36% of the total complained directly to businesses. Most of those polled said government agencies hadn't been effective in resolving their complaints due to complicated administrative procedures and ineffective support from officials.
The northern province of Bắc Giang has earned around 3 trillion Vietnam dong, about $135 million from lychees, and some 2 trillion Vietnam dong, or $90 million from related services so far this year. The price of lychees hit a 40-year high this year at an average of 21,000 Vietnam dong, or $0.95 per kilogram, 35% higher than the price last year. Domestic consumption accounted for about 50% of the 142,000 tons harvested. The other half was shipped abroad, mostly to China. The province also witnessed a remarkable year-on-year increase in the amount exported to such strict markets as the US, Australia, the EU, and the Republic of Korea. In order to ensure the sector's sustainable development, the province aims to provide assistance to lychee farmers to apply VietGAP and Global GAP standards in production while expanding the cooperative model to enhance local lychee brand names. The locality will also work closely with other agencies and ministries to promote domestic consumption in the southern market and seek new and high-value export markets. More incentive will be offered to better preserve lychees and facilitate exports. The province was urged to promote the shipment of lychees to the southern and central markets. It was suggested to establish an agricultural market to better connect farmers and enterprises. The tourism sector is focusing on developing high-quality human resources in order to become a spearhead economy. The industry needs around 870,000 workers by 2020 and strives to record an annual growth of 7% between 2016 and 2020. Its personnel demand is twice or 3 times higher than that of other key sectors like education, healthcare, and finance. In 2016, the country has around 156 training facilities, which annually provide 15,000 personnel for the market in comparison with a demand of 40,000 workers. This is attributed to the shortage of skilled teachers at universities and colleges and an imbalance between theory and practice, experts said. To improve the human resources quality, the Vietnam Tourism Association has established a tourism training association to increase management capacity at training facilities as well as competitiveness of its members. At a recent national conference on tourism development in the central province of Quảng Nam, Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc required tourism departments at universities and colleges to improve training quality. He urged the Ministry of Labour and Value Social Affairs and the Ministry of Education and Training to recognize the national tourism occupation standards and implement the ASEAN Mutual Recognition Arrangement on tourism professionals. Tò he is a traditional Vietnamese toy made from colored, steamed rice powder. The edible figurines can be kneaded into different shapes like animals, flowers, and legendary figures. Surviving the test of time, it has become a distinct feature of Vietnam's culture. In the past, tò he was used to portray animals, mostly birds. Now, craftsmen are able to create any shape the customers want. Foreign tourists are learning tò he making skills and knitting their own figurines under the guidance of experienced craftsmen. This is part of the Pieces of Culture program, which includes a series of cultural events initiated by the student-run organization Hanoi Kids. It is renowned for free city tours around Hanoi for travelers.
What are you making?
I'm making a fish.
Oh, a fish! Surprisingly.
Yes, a fish.
Wow. Is it hard to make something like this?
No, very easy.
Very easy?
Very easy.
You having fun doing it?
A lot of fun. Very fun, very fun. I like it.
Yeah. Do you have the similar type of toy in your country?
No, nothing like this. Maybe like clay only.
Yeah.
It's very different. To know about it, and I think when I go back to America, I will show this to everyone. And I want to try tò he in America and show people Vietnamese culture.
Ken is a Japanese student studying in Vietnam. This is the first time he has made tò he figurines.
I'm making a Doraemon figurine, a famous Japanese character. It's not easy, but I'm having a lot of fun. In Japan, we also knit objects, but it's so quite different to this.
Having struggled for decades to ensure the existence of the craft, passionate craftsmen have spared no effort to renovate their works from simple figurines to much more complicated designs. And now, the traditional toy has become a symbol of Vietnamese culture in the eyes of international friends. And that has come to the end of our program. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you next time.